Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Just hit it.
Let's get to it. Matinee Edition with Lucas and Jared and guest spot Bowie.
Say hi, Bowie.
Oh, disgusting.
Hey, he licks, he gives kisses, he does it all.
Happy Spider Monday.
Spider Monday. Is that really? Oh, that's why everybody's posting about tickets today.
Dude, I got tickets.
My fucking God.
I got tickets.
I mean, like, I don't disagree with, like, the ticket selling. I just think it's absolutely audacious to create Spider Monday.
It's not Cyber Monday anymore, man.
Oh, my God, dude.
Happy
Spider-Man's
Spider-Monday.
taken over.
Did you see the great
The fucking hype.
there's a little ticket sale promo that Jamie Foxx and Tom Holland did?
No, what was
Where
that?
Jamie Foxx was like, how about we call it Electro Monday?
Oh, my God.
And it was 100% them poking fun at how ridiculous of a tagline it was.
I mean, that's good. Just because, like, I mean, they got to be a little self-aware on that.
It was good to see that they weren't completely shameless in stealing the iconic name of Cyber Monday.
Oh, for real though.
How dare they slander its name?
Just throwing this out there because I don't think we touched on it yet, but all things Spider-Man coming up. Electro, dude. I texted you about this.
Yeah.
Because I was so curious, and then it kind of got like thrown all over the internet from what I saw. But it looks like he is using like an arc reactor.
Not just any arc reactor.
Like
the arc reactor from Iron Man 2.
Like legit Tony Stark's arc reactor.
Yeah.
Like that. So I really wonder if they're gonna like touch on how they get these fucking devices.
Yeah, I
You know
definitely
what I
think
mean?
like with Electro in particular, it's gonna be a villain that's a slight riff on one we've already seen before, pulled out of like another universe, you know?
That's what I kept thinking
Like
too.
it's not the Garfield one.
Because it looks like, yeah, I mean, how would they explain his like weird transition from a blue Electro to
to yellow, more comic
don't lick the
accurate
mic. That's
Electro?
how you get shocked.
What I immediately thought.
What?
Does this have anything to do with Whiplash?
Dude, well, straight up, dude, because I really hope not, but I also...
It'd be a cool way to tie it together.
Other parts of his Electro suit look like Whiplash's getup.
Which,
right?
hey, they just fucking embrace Trevor Slattery. I mean, like, they could very well do Whiplash. Like, call him back to Whiplash at this point.
They really could, man.
And, I think Iron Man 2 gets too much shit. Personally, it's a fun movie. It's not as good as Iron Man, but it's fun.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke is pretty fucking gnarly in that movie.
He is.
I will say, his like
I want
accent
my board.
is so fucking bad. Like,
It's terrible, but I think it's fun.
It's an interesting character building. Like that's what the second two Iron Man movies. Well, actually, all those Iron Man movies were really good at. Is like they really focused on building the character, like fleshing out his character, and they put him into some weird positions in those movies overall. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I was like, I was so fucking curious when we first saw it, and I was just like that. That would be so cool if they riff on that.
And the last bit of Spider-Man news, review audiences get access to it in, I think, 5 days. So we'll be hearing some more stuff about it, and it's just over 3 weeks until it releases.
Yeah.
So I got tickets to watch day before release, like 10:30 at night.
Nice.
I'm excited.
The hype is there. The hype is real. It's gonna be a good movie. And I think the head of Sony, Amy Pascal, came out and like was saying that this is not the end of Spider-Man movies. They're planning on doing this trilogy and hopefully another trilogy, and
watch them really hit us like out of left field with like they don't do Miles Morales, they do Ben Reilly.
Dude, that'd be fucked up. Like mainly because like there's no anyway, Miles Morales is the next Spider-Man in the pecking order, really, that people would want to see. Not only by, I mean, just by sheer popularity, really. Like, that would be like the smart move.
Who plays Miles Morales?
I mean, my favorite fan casting that I saw was motherfucking McLaughlin or Caleb McLaughlin or whatever from Stranger Things.
I'm with you right there.
Like,
man.
I love that, and like
It's
he's grown into like a pretty like I've been rewatching Stranger Things, and it's been kind of cool watching him and like some of the kids as they like grow up through the show again.
Yeah.
And you do see them get like better and better,
yeah.
like, and it's kind of cool. So I would be down with that for sure.
And I feel like always in Stranger Things, he's like a side player all the time.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to see him in more of a leading role.
100. I was just watching this episode where it's the second to the last episode of season 3.
Okay,
and it's like
he gets a lot more play.
The Mind Flayer like fucking gets Elle by the leg, and this is like the first time in really like almost the entire series I feel like that Lucas actually like does something. He steps up and like fucking hacks the Mind Flayer with the axe, and you're just like, finally somebody's not standing around. Like,
oh, is that when they're in the cabin?
Yeah,
surrounded by.
I was half expecting him to pull out his wrist rocket and try and shoot the Mind Flayer in the face.
Yeah, man.
Which the funniest thing about that show, one of the funniest things about that show is that they keep using that thing, or he keeps using that thing no matter how like little it does every season.
Dude, that's one of the charms of Stranger Things. It's like the kids' fantastical approach to literal life or death situations.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, that's what I love in that particular episode that I just rewatched was like, he discovers all the fireworks, and I love that moment where it's like, awesome. These fireworks are gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I feel like that that season 3 was so much fun. I think and you see a bit of that with like his weird thinking in season 2 as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think like he is also McLaughlin's also like an accomplished like thespian actor.
Yeah,
so
watching some interviews with him, he actually does more. It seems like he does more stage work.
He got his start playing young Simba in the Lion King musicals.
That's fucking dope, dude.
I know. That's crazy.
That's what
on
I mean.
Broadway.
Like, give the kid a chance to like really flex, man.
Yeah.
Hook him up with that Miles Morales gig, because I feel like he'd grow
on the money.
He would like he'd hit the note. He's at a really good age to start Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And
he'd definitely pass for like late high school.
Yeah. And I think that it'd be, like I said earlier, it's based on sheer popularity of characters. Like, he would be the next logical character to like try and do a trilogy with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I definitely, yeah. And
like a Clone Wars, a Clone Saga would be like really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just it would be so out of fucking left field. You know what I mean?
They're in the comics apparently doing a lot of new shit with Ben Reilly.
I know.
Like, he's becoming a main player.
And that's what worries me. Is because how intrinsically Marvel has been tying stuff into their like comic stuff and their movies.
Like 4 years ahead though, you know?
But it's like, it's interesting because you can almost like plot it out a little bit. And so I'm really wondering if that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been wondering that too. I'm like, are they gonna try and like bring him back in some way to like bring him to focus? Or are they tossing Sony a bone and just like giving them Ben Reilly, and like they keep the rights to MCU keeps the rights to like the Miles Morales or something like that.
I saw something very interesting about it was in the comics the other day. It was finally revealed why Mephisto broke up Spider-Man or Peter Parker and Mary Jane.
Yeah, why is that?
Because there's a future in his mind where he takes over. He's like seeing it in visions. Mm-hmm. And he's like burning New York to the ground. Earth is now his domain. Damn. Mephisto's ruling. And he sees every time there's one person that beats him.
Motherfucking
and
Spider-Man.
It's not Spider-Man. It's Spider-Girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter and Mary Jane's daughter.
Hell yeah.
So, and he was playing the long game.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is setting up something like a near future Avengers, because it's a badass shot of Mephisto looking over this flaming New York, and you see in the distance Spider-Man with like a tattered suit swing, and you see the eye, akin to the Raimi stuff, and then it goes through a flame, and a bit more of the suit comes off, and you can tell that it's a woman.
That's fucking dope, dude.
And I was like, that's awesome. That's like such a, like, for paying off what is sort of known as one of the worst storylines that's in Spider-Man with One More Day.
Yeah.
But like using it finally to do something interesting, potentially.
Dude, that that is the hella interesting, man. And it's just like wild that they would build like the ultimate adversary for Mephisto
is Spider-Girl.
Is like just somebody who has like the spider powers.
But
man.
but that's it. That's all we've seen is that somehow
interesting. Man.
Like, and it doesn't. You don't see how. You just Mephisto knows that she's gonna beat him.
Yeah. Well, and that's also like just strange as well. I mean, like they really like in the years, like the last like handful of years, and I mean probably last fucking decade if we're being real. Like they've really built Spider-Man lore. They've like really built it up. Like there's like the whole like Spider-Verse. There's like the fact that there's like the spider totem. Like it's like a thing. It's almost like mirroring. In a way, there's like in DC they did that with like the Blue Beetle. Yeah. Where like instead of originally the Blue Beetle was just Ted Kord trying to be a detective with his like scientific mind and his tech and his billions of dollars. And then all of a sudden Beetle? It's the name's like Jaime Reyes.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like all based on the fact that Reyes finds this scarab. Yeah. That attaches itself to him and gives him the powers, and it's like it's like this thing, and it kind of reminded me of like the totem in a way where it's like this thing, Anyway,
you know who I would like to see at some point?
What
I think is a good character, Silk.
Silk, okay.
Yeah, have you seen the suit for Silk? Mm-mm. It's sick, man. I think it's at least the design is pretty awesome, and then she has a pretty badass backstory. Okay. That has to do with like the Osborns. Oh, that's not it.
Silk.
And I think her suit is dope. I just want to find a good picture here.
I don't know. It's just been interesting that they've been so heavy on Spider-Man lore.
It's one of those like it's gonna be. She sort of took the place of Spider-Woman recently, but it's okay. Oh, that's not it. Oh, fuck. I've done something terribly wrong here. But it's...
Can't get the, like, half mask.
Yeah, the half mask, the white suit. I think it looks sick. Yeah. And she's playing as sort of like an anti-hero. Okay. Not quite Venom, but sort of...
Doesn't mind breaking some bones.
Yeah, more of a Daredevil type. Okay. But yeah, I would love to see her. That's another cool sort of coming out of this like Spider-Man greater mythos that they've been establishing lately. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm interested to see, man, how far they push that, because in like during the context of this conversation, another thought popped into my head, and it was because Miles Morales, for instance, is kind of a newer character. Yeah. Does the deal that Sony made with Marvel?
It applies.
Does that apply to Miles Morales?
I think the rules are like it has to be
or does it apply to Peter Parker?
Characters introduced in a Spider-Man comic. It doesn't matter when.
Okay. Yeah.
So
damn that legal that legal wording.
Bullshit, man.
But yeah, so what other Marvel stuff? Just getting Hawkeye, dude. Let's talk about Hawkeye.
Let's do Hawkeye
because we got plenty of other stuff, but just to touch on the rest of the Marvel. The Hawkeye show dropped the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and it's fucking sick.
It's such a fucking fun show already, man. I love it, and
it was like production value went up instantly. You can tell that this was produced when the production company had a better grasp on how to work under COVID.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I know WandaVision was very stylized, but it got a bit janky once it sort of just turned into a normal television Marvel type thing. Yeah. There's definitely a bunch of jank to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, Loki didn't really have to frame action that frequently, so it was fine, Yeah. But then now we're seeing like an action forward show that's pretty entertaining and really nicely shot. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about it. Also, it's always good to be back on street level Marvel,
Oh, for sure. I mean, the street level gives you, it gives you the human element, right?
Exactly.
And one of the things I love is that, they're really, and they really make Hawkeye that like right out the gate. They paint the picture of him spending time with his family, the whole plot line of like he's the quasi like classic Christmas time plot line for a movie. Yeah, I'll be home for Christmas, I promise.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're really leaning into his hearing loss, which I think is so fantastic. It gives you that like that like it's just that human element where it's like he is as a human man, his body's going.
I did think the bit of him like of Kate Bishop being like, how do you start losing your hearing? Well, montage of all the things he's gone through.
Explosions and flying through windows and shit.
Too hard to tell.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh yeah, he's just a dude. This is not, he doesn't have the protection of Iron Man. He's not juiced like Captain America.
No.
He's not a god like Thor.
Nah.
Very much in line of like they made that joke in Black Widow that she needed like the Hulk doesn't need ibuprofen after a fight.
Exactly.
And it's like it's of that same vein, and I think it's humanizing.
Mm-hmm.
I also love that they're playing at like no one liking Hawkeye.
Oh god, yeah.
Like especially the Katniss Everdeen bit.
Well, it's like that whole thing. Like they show like people know him, but people don't like go out of their way, you know, to like shake his hand or give him a hug. There's only like one time I think really through those first 2 episodes that he gets recognized in a positive way, and that was like at the dinner, right?
Yeah. Which this I looked over to Kate while I was watching that. I paused it and I was like, Hawkeye's getting free dinner. And he saved the universe. Yeah. You know who also was there helping to save the universe?
Who?
Falcon. Falcon impaled a monster with his wings.
Motherfucker can't even get a fucking loan.
He can't get a loan.
I know.
The MCU is racist.
Put those scenes side by side somewhere on Instagram.
I feel like once you kill an alien in defense of the universe, you should be set for life.
I'm with you there, dude. Like that's so fucking funny.
It's one of those little things of like, this is a bit fucked.
The MCU's really leaning into that real world aspect.
Yeah, I know. Which, but I mean, it's fucking funny.
But yeah, okay. So I'm really interested where this show's gonna go because it's gonna explore. Like not only like Ronan, Hawkeye's time as Ronan. Yeah. It's gonna really explore his mentorship of Kate Bishop. Yep. Who's already a really fun character herself. Like,
oh my god, she's so enjoyable.
Dude, she is. She's got this like really like I don't know what's the name of the actress that plays her again?
Haley Steinfeld.
She just like she has this really good energy that she brings, dude. She nails it. Yeah, that's where she's from. Yep. Holy shit.
True Grit and Bumblebee.
And Bumblebee.
Which actually, once again, Bumblebee ain't bad.
But I think she's really nailing it right now. She's great.
Very charismatic.
I love her character building that they've done so far. Yeah. And you know, where it's just sort of like she feels like her character doesn't have a home base. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a weird position to be in for a young vigilante.
And you know, it almost feels like they're scratching some of that like the Tony Stark ego with it, you know? Because they make a joke about her. Like there's 2 things, like there's 2 kinds of people that feel like untouchable. Rich people and young people. Yeah. And she's both. Yeah. And while I feel like that could be played, that could sort of alienate general audiences from a character, it doesn't. No. She's incredibly likable. Yeah. And she's putting the shit together, especially with the Jack prick.
Dude, what the fuck is up with that guy?
He's the swordsman.
Oh, that's it. That damn fool. He was like when he challenged her to the guy, or when he accepted the challenge to the fencing match. I was like, "There's something this dude has."
I thought that was. I actually think that guy's sort of likable, and like for being a piece of shit. That interaction was funny. Where it was just like, he was like,
it was a good interaction for sure.
Like, convince me. Why not? I'm convinced. I mean, it's like
he is bringing a likability to his character.
Yeah, it's like that. Sure. It's like that shitty charisma.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. You just know he's a dick, but you're like, okay.
It's sort of likable. Look at that mustache.
Yeah. But the main thing I'm really interested in with Hawkeye is the exploration of some of the potential like gang activity or various sections of gangs in New York, which we've seen a little bit through. Like shows like Netflix's Daredevil, and I think they did a really good job of kind of like having multiple factions and showcasing them. I'm really excited to see how they do that with this show because they've already introduced a couple of like sort of funny gangs as well.
You have like the there's like the high society type auction stuff, which has got to be like I think those are Fisk's dudes. We'll get there. But also I think that Fisk might be pulling the strings of all of them.
That's what I'm wondering. That's the
most Kingpin thing.
Because dude, we were yucking it up about it. Like there's those rumors, those Kingpin rumors, that D'Onofrio is gonna be there
In a fat suit.
But in a fucking fat suit. Oh my God.
Which is stupid.
That's the thing that I don't understand is like his presence was spot on as Kingpin in the
he was
Netflix
imposing.
show. Yeah, dude.
He was not fat like Kingpin. He was not an absolute unit like Into the Spider-Verse.
In the action that we saw him in, he was fucking like furious, man. And
he was a big guy.
Imposing is a good word for it, man, because he like nailed that. And honestly, to me, it's if the MCU were to lean into, because what we've heard is like it's like the fat suit mixed with like some CGI on top.
Essentially,
of it.
what they did for Thor.
But what the difference is that it was like campy and worked with Thor.
Yeah.
Because of like where the character was at. In this, you don't want that campiness.
I feel like there's a point where they could play off of, there's that old timey thing of like the people that were extremely prosperous usually were pretty fat, and it was sort of a sign of their stature and their place in society. They could do something like that with it without it being like too gratuitous, you know, where he just like looks bigger, like, well, and that's fair in my book, or it could border on cartoony. And being just sort of like taking the intimidation out of that character. Yeah,
and that's where it's just, you're right. It's just a really fine line. Because I mean, if you think about it, like the character of the Kingpin is like I think it's like, I don't know the exact number. It was like something like 90% of his body is actually muscle. Yeah, and you know he can like fucking go, you know, for blows against like the Thing. You know, like
you know, and I remember there's a comic frame where the Hand is trying to like stop him. And it's like Wolverine in the Wolverine movie where they have all the tethers on him. Dude. But it's Fisk and he's like covered in them and he's still beating people.
Berserker fucking rage, man. I think Kingpin don't got it. He's got it. But that's what I mean, where it's like, I think it's up to the people that are making the show to take that character on, if they do, which I really hope they do, to take that character on and do what they did with in the Netflix show, where they used camera angles and the way they shot things, as well as just D'Onofrio's like intense presence, to just pull the character off seamlessly. And like if they just lean too hard into the fat suit stuff, I feel like it's just gonna make the character like just less imposing, you know. And I don't think, especially if you know that there's somebody out there that can pull it off, it would just immediately disappoint me and other fans.
I do think that there's a line.
Feige, we know you're listening.
I do think that there is a line. There's a threshold where it becomes too much.
For sure.
And I hope they don't cross that.
Yeah.
Because
it's a danger though, because the show is already kind of, it has that quasi-lighthearted nature to it. So you just don't know. You know what I mean?
You know, and I mean, it gets... Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. You know who else I'm excited to see from that show?
What?
We got our first look at Echo at the end of episode 2.
Oh, yeah. That's true. They're finally starting to build that out, because we know there's a show coming at some point.
Yeah, I want to give like that actress props. This is her first ever acting credit in Hawkeye.
Oh, wow.
She's actually deaf. Before this, she was a driver for FedEx and Amazon. And she did an audition for Echo, and now she's getting her own show.
And
it's like, hey, fuck yes, get unknowns for this stuff, boost people up.
Yeah, I'm all for, like, if you got the chops, you got the chops. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
If you fit the bill, good for you. Doesn't have to be an existing person in Hollywood playing deaf. You know.
That being said, if anybody's looking for a dog for a Pet Avengers movie.
Oh, Bowie.
We got a little dog in studio that would fit the bill. But that's cool. I'm really excited to see how they really how they use her character in this show.
Yeah.
I saw some of those really cool side-by-sides online of stills from Daredevil and stills from the scene that they introduce her in, really.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a kind of cool parallel, and I don't know if it's an intentional nod, but I would like to think it was.
One more Spider-Man thing that has to do with Daredevil.
Spider-Man.
Not a clarified leak, but a rumor of a potential description of what's going to happen with Daredevil in it and his cameo.
Yeah.
So apparently he's going to be meeting with Spider-Man, Aunt May, and Happy in... Oh, he's humping the blanket. In Bowie.
Chog on your own time, Bowie. We're recording.
But he's going to meet in Aunt May's apartment with them.
Okay.
And there's going to be protesters outside. and something's gonna come through the window, and he's gonna grab it, and they're gonna be like, "How'd you do that?" And he's gonna say, "I'm a great lawyer," which is just fucking stupid and funny, and I respect it. But whatever. I thought that was interesting.
No, I think that's great. I just it's like it's one of those things, man. Like I really think that putting too much stock into like him pulling off Daredevil and this is going to disappoint you. I think they're building him into the universe, and I think that this is going to lead to Daredevil stuff, but I think it's really anything with Charlie Cox in an MCU I'm fucking for at this point because like I want that, man. Charlie Cox, we're there for you.
Did I send it to you? There was a press event with that walked out. The people that came out of it were Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Charlie Cox.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's like, it's a bit suspect.
Yeah.
Like
the closer it comes to releasing, like the
it's becoming like the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
And I mean, I wonder if Sony's just over there being like, man, we should have just dropped it.
Oh yeah, but I think it's better that they didn't, because some discourse is better than none, and it will get people excited. Fucking Fandango crashed last night.
I was gonna say, Jesus, dude, that's fucking nuts.
That didn't happen when Endgame tickets came out.
That's what I'm saying. That's fucking crazy. I want to go back on my last episode statements. I think you are probably on track with that $1 billion movie, theory, because just seeing the amount of fucking like ticket sales and hypes and everything that I've kind of just really just kept going. It
hasn't stopped.
Yeah, this movie's gonna be huge.
I think. And back quickly, one last thing on Daredevil before we move on from Marvel. I think what we're gonna see is not like a full Daredevil. Mm-hmm. We might see in Spider-Man, in She-Hulk, maybe one other project, just Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
and then
I think so.
Come like maybe the project before we see an actual Daredevil solo thing, we'll see him in the suit.
Yeah.
Like, because I actually think Matt Murdock. Like, some of my favorite episodes of the Daredevil show are the Matt Murdock episodes where you don't even see him in his suit.
Well, yeah, they did a really good job of humanizing and making you care about that character, dude. And, I mean, Matt Murdock is a character that can really like give you that viewpoint of like, things seem so fucking big. Yeah. But like I'm the small, like I'm gonna do what I can. The
small guy just trying.
And I think that I think that's a good idea to maybe try and build out his Matt Murdock character before Daredevil, because Daredevil's obviously the persona that everybody's most familiar with. You know what I mean?
The ideals and the values of Matt Murdock set up Daredevil.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a good. I think that would be a good.
It's interesting. People always compare Batman and Daredevil.
No, they're very different.
I know, but I see it all the fucking time. Yeah. From people that aren't completely aware of it. I feel like Batman is Batman. Mm-hmm. Daredevil is Matt Murdock.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, there's just Matt Murdock and Daredevil, like he like I don't know, in so many comics, so much of like the internal dialogue, it's just him being so conflicted by what he's doing. Yeah. And with Batman, it's like
Bruce Wayne died.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne died with his fucking parents, and he sharpened himself to be the specific thing. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I'm interested to see how they're gonna start building out more of that street level while also doing some like bigger stuff. Like She-Hulk and all that. Like there's She-Hulk's not a street level character.
Not at all.
Big character. Like Moon Knight. Moon Knight will be like an interesting kind of like.
It'll be diving into I think
psychological
Moon Knight might cross. You'll get the psychological. I think it's gonna tie together the street level and the mystical.
Exactly. I think you're right there, and I think that will do so much in terms of like how they're developing all their shows and like kind of how they're really using that to lay more foundation for the universe. But
so shall we get to the gaming minute?
No,
I got some stuff. Oh, all right, we gotta move on.
What do we got?
So 2 things this week. The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, came out this week.
Ooh.
I've spoken about this briefly in the past, I think. Those are the first games that I really was able, as a kid, to like understand what I needed to do and fucking finish it.
Yeah.
And I've been playing the fuck out of them.
How have they been?
It's very interesting. They're like a shot-for-shot remake of the originals. Like the only major changes are that you have diagonal movement rather than just like box-to-box movement.
Which is nice.
And like a slightly extended Pokedex. That's it. And it's very fun. I've been really enjoying playing it. It's bringing me back to my childhood and one of the games that I really have a soft spot for. They're fucking hard. I was telling you this before. I was like, how did I beat this as a kid?
Yeah,
it's like kicking my ass.
Sometimes like games like that, like they mystify you. It's like, how the fuck did I pull that off?
I know, and I'm playing. Kate's playing it because I have a Switch Lite, and then Kate has like a proper Switch on the TV.
Okay.
And she's been playing it, and I'm a bit ahead of her, and I'm like, babe, you need to change your team. You're gonna get fucked. Like this is like I'm getting screwed, and I'm like min-maxing. I'm like paying attention to the numbers.
Man,
I'm like, what's my Garchomp's nature?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What perks am I getting from this? And I'm still getting fucked. I was like, as a kid, I was just like, Torterra looks really cool. Yeah, and dude, I won.
Fucking freewheeling with the Pokemon. Like,
I know. So that was
that's so interesting. That's so where are you at in the game then?
I'm on the Elite Four.
Okay.
And I've failed 6 times. Like, and
lucky number 7.
I don't know the last time. Like when I got a Switch, I played through Pokemon Shield. I didn't wipe at all that game.
Okay.
Like I had like significant losses on the champion. I think I had 2 Pokemon left.
Okay. Yeah.
On the first time I hit the champion, I knocked out only 2 of her 6.
Oof.
And I got swept the rest of the way.
Damn, dude.
Before that, just on the Elite Four, I got wiped out like 4 times by different members.
Shit.
And I was like, shit, man. I was like, Pokemon's difficult.
Dude, they're really ramping it up.
I know, it's crazy. And like NPCs executing like difficult strategies. Like I was like, what the fuck is this? This is bizarre.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
So, but it's been fun. The bigger news though is that a few weeks ago, Forza Horizon came out. And I said it would be fucking criminal if this game didn't get a Game of the Year nomination.
And where are we?
It did it.
God damn, dude. They snubbed? They gave it the DiCaprio snub?
They didn't snub it because it wasn't even up for nomination.
Fuck that.
So Forza came out, like the pre-access was available like 2 days before nominations had to be in.
Okay.
But it came out formally like a week afterwards.
Oh, is that why?
But here's the thing. It's in like a lame period where if it's released after that, like after the nomination window closes, it can't be nominated for this year. But because it didn't come out next year, it's not applicable for next year.
What?
I know. So nothing, this includes like games like Halo.
Yeah.
Nothing is able to be nominated at the Game of the Year awards between like November, like early November and the end of the year at all.
Dude.
But here's the thing.
That's weird.
I know, it's fucking bizarre. It did get nominated in the racing and flying category, which means that people who hadn't played the game just nominated it because they expected it to be the best.
Hey.
And which
it looks fucking good, dude.
It is fucking good. And a bunch of the like professionals in the industry, you have to be like an industry, like a certified member of the industry that's been working in gaming for a specific amount of time.
Okay.
And you have to have played like a specific number of games applicable to the category and provide evidence of like completion to nominate it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have already come out and been like, they need to fix this system. This deserves to be in it, but because of contingency, we're not ever going to be able to recognize this.
That's so wacky, man.
It's very weird. And and it was like this uproar online. I think like I saw I saw one like not even like a racing game centric like site. I think it was like IGN. It was like the Game Awards are a disgrace for not nominating Forza Horizon. And like stuff like that. It was fucking everywhere for a few days.
That's fucking crazy. Like, yeah, dude. I mean, it's just. Just because of like that little weird cycle, like.
I know, and and what's crazy is that there's even games like Halo. You know,
you just miss out on the opportunity to like really like give awards to so like it feels like so many tail end games there.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, and actually,
that's fucking weird.
I know it's fucking weird.
I don't know. It's bizarre to me. Awards have always been strange, dude. That's why like all those award shows like video game, fucking country music, fucking VMAs, fucking whatever the hell. Yeah. Like they're all just such fucking wacky.
There's one
wacky
pure award
things,
show
dude.
though.
What's that?
Or actually two. The first one is the Kids' Choice Awards, as hosted in my early years by Jack Black, fucking killing it.
Slime it,
dude. It's not serious, and real people vote on it. The second one is our upcoming award show, the Old Hardies.
The Old Hardies. It's like a slight riff on the Dundies, but
we should actually do that.
God, dude. The Old Hardies.
Thinking about
to come up with some categories.
I have the audio for Coffee and Contemplation. I was gonna do a gaming one and send it to you.
Dude, there you go.
We'll but we'll see. I think it's fucking stupid. This reminded me one more thing for the gaming minute. Halo. Halo multiplayer, which is currently accessible on Xbox and PC, has been absolutely fucked.
Oh, why is that?
Because there is mandatory crossplay between Xbox and PC. Fine on the surface. Cheaters.
Oh.
People are modding the game on their PCs to give them like auto aim, unlimited mags, but you can't like. Not to say it's fair. Not to say it's fair if you did it on Xbox because it'd be bullshit either way. Yeah. But you can't mod an Xbox like that and play online. So
that's lame.
It's like it's been absolutely fucked because there aren't enough protections in place to protect console players from that.
So people on consoles are just getting hosed.
Yeah, just getting hosed.
Dude, that's lame.
I know, like people with walls, people with like headshots, and like it's fucking bullshit. I got hit a few times with that, and I was like, it should be. We've talked about crossplay being cool.
Yeah, but there are downsides like this.
There are downsides, and it's like you have to have a strong anti-cheat on the PC side. This happened with Destiny too. You have to, and it happens with a lot of crossplay games. While the population might be larger, you're gonna have more bad actors on PC that are actually breaking the game rather than like console bad actors who are just assholes.
Yeah, that's lame, man.
So I think that's interesting. That said, we can leave the game a minute. We'll
reverse that. But that's strange.
So we have a few other things today.
Got some random stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up Cowboy Bebop on Netflix. The Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop recently got posted, and
I don't have much of a connection to Cowboy Bebop, but I think it brings up some interesting things, specifically about like adaptation and from anime.
Yeah, which is really hard to pull off.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. We've talked about it a little bit, in the past, but this show I think really does.
Bowie, do you have something to say?
A solid job. Bowie just wants to get his chog on. He's just mad I'm not holding his blanket for him. Not that I do that regularly, dear viewers. All right.
Jared folds Bowie's blanket so he can get his rock on.
It's not true, man. Don't
look at him
like that. But I think so. This show is really just like slick. They pull off some really like the costumes are spot on from the show. The pace of the show is really awesome. I'd say like there are some slow moments where they take the time to kind of do like those, sort of like, I don't know. There's like they're trying to build side storylines following on like characters that you wouldn't necessarily follow in like an animation. In the animation, you're really focused on following the main characters and like what they're doing. In live action, you have a tendency, in order to flesh characters out, you have a tendency to like, follow the main character, but then you get like dialogue and some extra exposition from like, the antagonists and stuff like that, and that's what they're doing a little bit with this show. And I'd say like that's the drag is that like when they're doing like scenes without any of the main characters, you're kind of like, okay, what are they doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing though, is that like it's kind of important for the show. Otherwise they would have had to change the entire structure of this, like the type of show that they're doing.
Yeah.
Where they're pulling off these storylines. I get you, Bowie. They're pulling off these storylines that are like from, that they start at the beginning of the season and you're going to get the conclusion.
Yeah.
Whereas each episode of the animation is more or less kind of like, what's the word I'm trying to look for? shit.
Like streamlined.
Yeah, well, they're just not like necessarily tied together with storylines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's interesting in that way. That's like a little bit of a difference, but they really fucking nail so much about the anime, which is so impressive to me.
Yeah.
Because again, it's hard to pull off, man. Like
I've heard the casting is excellent. It helps bolster that.
The casting's fucking good. You got John Cho. You got, which I was surprised by. I mentioned that I was not too convinced on him at first, but I've
heard he's been pulling it off well.
Him as Spike has been fucking awesome.
They got Bushmaster.
Yeah, dude.
Boogie. I don't think are any of our old Luke Cage reviews still accessible, or was that all SoundCloud?
No, that might be. They're probably up on here.
No, man, that's got to be like 3 years deep though.
Once again, there are over 300 episodes of Old Heart Radio on Spotify. So
Bushmaster,
get after it. But yeah, you got a pretty fucking interesting, cast. Yeah, what's his name?
Mustafa
something. Fucking live action cast. I'm looking up the live action cast. Oh my god.
I've heard that he in particular is like on the money for Jet Black.
Yeah, I mean he does a really good job. Like they all do. Mustafa Shakir, that's it.
Okay.
John Cho is Spike. Yeah, he's Jet Black. Danella Pineda is, I believe, Faye Valentine, and those are the 3 core characters. I just got to a point in the show where they finally introduced Einstein, which is this little corgi that that runs around the ship.
I've definitely seen the scenes with the corgi.
And yeah, like I said, it's just it's uncanny how well they pull off the animation vibe. And like we were talking about it earlier, and it almost directly translates to our concerns.
With Avatar?
Looking at Avatar, like the Last Airbender series that's coming up, where it's like.
Shyamalan really fucked that up for not knowing how to translate it.
They really put a bad taste in your mouth where you're just like, damn, dude, like I hope they don't like screw that energy up that you get from the show, because there's so much. It's like Avatar is such a interesting dynamic, because you get these episodes where they're very like childlike, and that's a very particular type of storytelling energy, and then you also have like some really like adult like heavy episodes, and so I'm interested to see if they are able to capture all the dynamic of that show.
And I said this last week. For me, we were talking about this while we were having some coffee before recording, but like adaptation is somewhat necessary, at least in my book. I don't want to see the same story, and I've seen that some people, that's been a turnoff for Cowboy Bebop, is that they're not iterating on it that much. But for like, it's in my book, what I want to see from Avatar, and like hearing that Cowboy Bebop is good is sort of like giving me a bit more confidence,
Yeah.
But if it's the same shit, I'm not really that interested, Use the different medium, use the different style to explore the characters differently, and maybe tell some riffs on the same story. It doesn't all have to be the exact same.
Well, but that's the danger, though, and we've seen that in the past where people like immediately, as soon as you branch off of the, source material, you get like people that are like irate about it.
I'm not saying branch from the source material, but I mean tell a few different stories intermixed with stuff that we're already familiar with.
Yeah,
the end point can be the same, but maybe riff on it. You know,
well,
like they can, as an example, a character from Avatar that could be played a bit differently and make for a bit more serious of a story. Jet in season 1, they could really go into his like moral ambiguity. When in the animated series, he was just sort of like a slightly quippy, edgy guy,
You get like a little bit of his backstory,
Not much, and it's never.
You learn that it's like the town that he was from or whatever got burned down by the fucking Fire Nation and stuff.
But I think that like having a good actor playing him in live action, you can totally give a lot more depth to a character like that.
Well, yeah, for sure.
In like a 40-minute episode, you can play that a lot darker.
Yeah,
be a bit more serious with that.
But conversely, that's some of the stuff that I've been seeing has been looked at as negative about like this show for Bebop, for instance, where it's like some of the original like kind of more in like character in depth scenes you get are the ones that people are like, oh, that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is strange because it's like, people are equally asking for that, but they also like reject that. But like, there's like, it's just fandom. It's that weird toxic fandom kind of like borderline toxic fandom kind of things where it's like, you want something fresh, but you don't want something fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
like,
that also,
it's so strange.
Specifically that point I think is interesting because I'm not super familiar with Cowboy Bebop. If I was to watch this show, I've never seen but like a few episodes of the animation. So this would be like my introduction. And I probably wouldn't find those like character moments like I would probably find them necessary. Those criticisms I guarantee are coming from people that already know these characters well, Well,
and that's it too. You have to give it with any adaptation, you have to give yourself that chance to break.
Exactly.
And say like, I mean, I do it all the time with comic book movies and shit like that, where it's like, you see the reference storylines, you see like the titles that they use for movies
that was
that
exactly where I was going.
Yeah, and it's it's fucking fine, people.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking fine to say like they're taking these things, get up off my shit,
Bowie.
but it's fine to say that they're taking these characters and they're trying to do them in different, like, what are you getting at, Bowie? I'm gonna get you. Okay, sorry, that was a break. He's going hog wild.
Well, I mean, the prime example is Thanos is not in love with death.
Exactly. The main motivating factor for him
that works in the comimics.
Yeah,
it probably could have worked in live action
if they would have built it out. But they didn't. They didn't need to take the time to do that.
Yeah,
because he's already like, you can just say he's a fucking galactic villain who wants to kill people.
Yeah. His ideology is askew for irrational reasons.
And so it's the truth though. It's like you have to just like, and those movies obviously turned out fucking awesome. By the way, okay, those are like the
Empire called Infinity War the 8th best movie ever made,
and so it's just,
which is crazy.
It's nuts, but it's you have to give people a chance to make those adaptations. Otherwise, and this is something that I think you point out is that the original work becomes stagnant in a way, and then people stop wanting to even like seek out that original work, and that kills everything then, you know what I mean? And so it's like, even if it puts hate in your fucking mouth to make an adaptation of something that you don't like it's still breathing some sort of life into that property.
Man, people knew Avatar was really good. Mm-hmm. People knew Cowboy Bebop was really good. Mm-hmm. But how long was it between when Avatar came on Netflix and the series ended? It was 9 years.
Yeah.
People didn't talk about it.
No.
If it came up in conversation, everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome.
The first time I ever watched it was on Netflix.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout outs to my buddy Todd Sutherland.
It's one of those things of like, it came on to Netflix and people were like, holy shit, this is still really good.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with like there being new life shot into it. It was just, it became available. Mm-hmm. People who hadn't experienced it were then able to experience it.
Well, and that also happened, I think, with Bebop, where it I think it was like a 1-season show in the fucking 90s. Yeah. And it got missed by so many, and then it just kind of immediately started getting played on like late
it got like syndicated.
And it's as soon as it popped up it became more widely available, people started latching onto it more and more.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. I mean, that's just the beauty of fucking streaming these days, people. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Speaking of,
but you've been kind of busy, my man.
I've been watching a bunch of shit. I've been going to the movies.
So I got a couple I want to pick your brain about.
I want to give a quick shout out to arguably the show that raises my spirits more than any other. The Great British Baking Show.
Oh, yes.
My God, I'm done with it. You still have a few episodes to go.
Yeah, man.
This is a fucking great season. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but like Giuseppe, Jurgen, Chigs, Freya, There are some of my fucking favorite bakers that have been on that. It's just wholesome.
Yeah, dude. It's this season's been fucking knockout, man.
Yeah.
It's been so good. And every single baker is one that's enjoyable. You know what I mean?
I will say this is the tightest season I've ever seen.
Yeah. From what I've watched so far, definitely.
You get to the end. I will not spoil who, but in the semifinal, there are 3 handshakes.
Whoa.
Those
are
one
certified
challenge.
Paul Hollywood handshakes.
4 people, 3 handshakes in 1 challenge.
God damn.
I know, it's fucking crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
So,
yeah, I can't wait to finish that up.
It's that show is an absolute blast as always. I've been watching. I watched the first couple episodes of Made yesterday.
Oh yeah, how's that?
It's interesting, and I think it has a very good message. I'm slightly torn about the execution.
Okay.
And I think the story is something that it's important to be told. It's sort of about domestic violence and the weird barriers that are put in place by our society, preventing women, especially from protecting themselves or finding a better life for their children.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of on the nose with some stuff. Like, you need to get a job to pay for daycare to prove that you need to go into subsidized housing.
Dude, it's some fucked up shit though.
It's
legit. I a good friend of mine who is no longer with us. She was a struggling single mom, and she had to go to court constantly, to prove that she was fit to like even fucking have her daughter. Yeah, and I mean, she was in the national, she was in the fucking army while having to do this. She was holding down jobs while having to do this, and it was this wild because her ex-husband, let's just be honest, was a white guy who looked better on paper. Yeah. He got favor from the courts like nobody's fucking business. And anyway, these are stories that need to be fucking told these days, man.
There's a court scene in Made where actually I think it's very clever. She doesn't have a lawyer, but the other guy does. And when the lawyer and the judge are going back and forth, it's just instead of hearing their dialogue, it's her sort of not really knowing what's going on, and you just hear legal, which it's very relevant. Yeah. But it sort of feeds into one of my criticisms. I have some issues with the weird comic relief in that show.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm I sort of want it to be more somber because it's a woman going through some really hard stuff. And there are some lighter moments with characters that come in and are treating her well. They're really caring for her, but she's still and there are these moments of levity that come naturally, but they're sort of undercut by her being distant or being stressed about her current situation. And that's very much by design. That said, I think that there are some weird, there's some weird music choices for montage segments. Some weird fucking pop songs play sometimes. There's some strange humor to it.
Stuff like that's always too strange, man. If you had I'm not talking at the mic, I apologize. If you don't use the fucking audio to your advantage, especially soundtracks and stuff like using music, songs, not just sound. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But it can bolster the message of a moment. It can play into the emotions.
And it can also ruin it.
Yeah. Oh, there was one of them where I was this is wrong.
Yeah, just sometimes it can fall flat.
Yeah, where it was this because she has a daughter, and it was this moment, the scene of them playing together. It's the kids finally getting a bit of relief after a stressful few days, but the main character Alex is sort of you can tell she's a bit preoccupied, but trying to have a good time with her kid, and it's this upbeat pop song playing. And weird. It's very weird. Yeah. And then finally, I think at the end of the second episode, there was a scene where some music played, and I was finally an appropriate song. Finally something that plays into this.
They finally got it.
Something that plays into this message.
The music supervisor's not going to get a vote from.
Exactly. And at the end of the second episode, there was a moment of levity that actually really worked. Okay. And going into the third, and I'm intrigued by it. I think it's also it takes place in Washington. At one point, they directly call out a 360 area code number from an incoming call.
That's cool.
And I was
always fun to see something in Washington.
Always fun to see something in Washington. It's filmed in Vancouver because of more movie subsidies.
That makes sense.
But It's very interesting, and I think it's a show. It's good that it was made. I'm yet to be completely sold on it. I will pass complete judgment once I finish the whole thing.
Fair enough.
It is a limited series too, which I think that's always very nice.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah,
if the life of your story.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is something that I'm glad it's one season, because if they were to do a second season, it would be fucking soul crushing. And it's like it's walking that line between like incredibly depressing and with like enough levity and enough like moments of respite to sort of like want to keep watching, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes the balance is off. Sometimes it feels a bit stronger. Sometimes it feels a bit weaker. But for the first 2 episodes, it's been an interesting watch.
Nice. Yeah, there's just been a lot of like random stuff. Like I watched the first couple episodes of the new season of Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
It's fucking rad, dude. Like like it's so strange that my dad is into Star Trek Discovery, because he just seems like not the person that would be into this, but he loves Star Trek. Like I mean, that's the whole fucking thing. And even he loves this fucking shit. And so, it's interesting though, because like this show just has such big stakes. You know what I mean? And like that's one of those, like, it's Star Trek's a property that's been around for fucking ever, and so you have to find a way to like make bigger storylines, right?
Yeah.
Things that will still impress people, even though you've seen really big shit in Star Trek overall.
Yeah.
Like the first Star Trek movie, my dad pointed this out. The first Star Trek movie takes place all centered around them trying to figure out what is like this, like it's like this just destructive force that's like, destroying things in the universe. And they when they boil it down and they figure out it's like this weird like cybernetic like race that's like built itself up around like the first satellite that ever was sent out into space by humans and like never returned. And so it's like these like big things. And so this storyline is really interesting that they start out with in this new season, where like literally in the first episode you see an entire planet, like one of the main characters' entire planets get fucking destroyed.
Jesus.
Like everything he knows and fucking loves. Like they just did this like really touching moment right before that, where like he has like one of the main characters has this moment with his godson and like his brother, well I guess his nephew and his brother, or his you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's just and then you find out that like the stakes are that like they have to figure out what the fuck is causing this huge gravitational like destructive force that's 5 fucking light years big.
Oh my god.
And so it's just like literally like this thing that's just like changing direction at will and just going and just like destroying anything in its fucking path. Ugh. Stakes are fucking huge, but they're also as on top of everything else. What's cool about this show is that like 2 seasons ago, they like the main crew that you follow on the Discovery, like they've straight up like they're in like 900 years in the future.
Oh my god.
So like they had to like do this thing in like a couple seasons back where it was like you either go that far in the future or everything fucking dies. And so they like this crew just makes the choice to just jump that far ahead. And it's fucking cool because you're seeing like the Federation in this way that you've never seen them before. Yeah. And so it's really fucking rad. But you said you had Paramount Plus. I would say that's a good time to get into Star Trek Discovery.
Will do, man. I'm intrigued. Actually, I want to quickly return to the game a minute. This reminded me, the gravity thing in and like cataclysmic events. In Destiny, the darkness, the fucking pyramids have gravity weapons that we haven't ever seen. But when like the collapse happened and everything, like humanity in the solar system was essentially nearly wiped out, there was a huge population on Titan, the like ocean moon of Saturn, and it was all on these essentially like giant rafts built on the giant ocean.
Oh, whoa.
And one of the few documentations in the lore of like what exactly happened during a period of time in the collapse is from people on Titan, where a pyramid went to either polar opposite on the planet and started pulling the water up with these gravity weapons and just like pulling it into an egg shape and then released it. And a giant tsunami went from either side. and just wiped everything out on the planet.
What the fuck?
Brutal,
man.
That just I couldn't help but remember. It's just such a graphic image.
That's fucking gnarly. Oh man.
That's just like a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah. Wow.
On the note of
anyway, there's
out of the game minute.
Yeah. I still wanted to catch your opinion on the couple of movies I know you've recently seen.
Yes.
One, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
So what's your hot take on Ghostbusters Afterlife?
I really enjoyed the first 2 Ghostbusters. I know apparently there's some mixed feelings about the second. I had both on VHS when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think they're both fun.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed both of them. I went and watched Ghostbusters Afterlife about a week ago. I think it is a very fun love letter to the originals. Mm-hmm. Sort of campy, very just like charming all around. The young cast is great for the most part, especially the girl playing Phoebe.
You're talking about Paul Rudd?
No. Paul Rudd isn't in very much of it.
That's a fucking tease. That's like Drew Barrymore and Scream.
Paul Rudd, and also I feel like the editor needs to be fucking fired because Paul Rudd, there's Paul Rudd and like Phoebe, the kid who's like
who's Venkman's kid or Venkman's granddaughter or whatever.
Yeah, Venkman's granddaughter who looks the part.
That's cool.
She's very fun. Nice. And also she has a buddy named, they never say his name, but everybody calls him Podcast. Because he does like a paranormal podcast.
Nice.
He's this kid constantly walking around with microphones.
Hell yeah.
Like doing like dramatic voiceover. Very like only murders in the building.
That's funny.
But he makes a point. He's like, I have one listener.
Shout outs.
So he's always running around with her, and at one point the two of them and Paul Rudd find like a ghost trap with something in it and release a ghost.
Oh shit.
But then after that, Paul Rudd just doesn't give a fuck about the ghosts anymore. And just moves on to like wanting to like bang their mom. And I was like,
that's the concern.
And I was just like, this feels like the editors moved that scene.
Yeah.
And like it was supposed to happen later in the movie, and Paul Rudd was supposed to be more of a crux in the finale, but he wasn't.
Interesting.
Like entering the third act, you don't see Paul Rudd for like 20 minutes. Huh. And I thought he was going to be like a main player.
Yeah,
you know?
They really give you that vibe.
Very like Hopper and Stranger Things, you know?
Dude,
have the kids dragging around this adult that's like half aware of what's going on.
Yeah. He'll like slug something, but
exactly.
Every now and then. But
and actually, it's very, very interesting. Like I have some issues with the film, specifically in the writing department and in the editing area. But my overwhelming feeling is that it's very close to the original Ghostbusters. Those aren't phenomenal Oscar-winning movies. No. They're entertaining, they're charming, they have fun performances.
Yeah.
This movie pays a lot of respect to what came before.
Nice.
And actually, that's why I think critically, in my mind, it's not much better than the fucking all-female Ghostbusters, you know? Mm. And that movie struggles in a lot of places. Mm. This movie does better than that, but not by like leaps and bounds. Mm. If that movie is like a 5, this is a 7, you know?
Yeah.
But this movie will be remembered leaps and bounds better because of how much love it shows for what came before. And rather than sort of overwriting it and ignoring it like that movie did.
Well, and that's kind of like I like Ghostbusters, but it's kind of the unfortunate thing about that. It's like it's not really like a property that's meant to be franchised.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and actually, this movie, like one of the things I will give it praise for, we were talking about this with Star Wars and how the sequel trilogy felt like no one had a good pitch, but they decided to make something. Ghostbusters Afterlife feels like someone had an interesting pitch.
Yeah.
And then they were like, let's put some love for the originals in it. You know?
Yeah.
Like the concept of Venkman having passed away and being like focusing on his kids who have been like who were alienated from him, don't really know what he was. There hasn't been a ghost sighting in like 30 years. So they're like younger kids exploring this already existing mythos and discovering the history.
Yeah.
Was so fun. Such a good concept. Very fun setup. Very effective setup. But then they also were like, let's fucking have cameos from the original guys. Let's steal some like iconic lines, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a blast.
So was Aykroyd and Bill Murray in it?
Yeah. And
oh, you're my God, Ernie Hudson. Yeah, because he was the only one that cameoed in the other one. Or no, the other one. He was in Aykroyd was in the other one also. That was my biggest one. Was like, they're gonna bring all three of them. They just need to get Rick Moranis in there somewhere.
All three of them. Dope. And actually, they do.
But yeah,
cool with me dropping a soft spoiler.
Yeah, man.
Venkman's ghost is sort of like a
interesting.
But they don't.
Do they use Harold Ramis's like image?
Only at the end.
That's interesting.
But for most of it, he's like helping them figure stuff out. But it's just like moving like a light to like where it's what they're supposed to look at.
Gotcha.
Turning on lights in like a room.
Yeah.
Opening up the door and showing all the suits. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Helping Finn Wolfhard's completely unnecessary character like jumpstart the fucking car.
Oh, what is it called? Oh my God, I'm blanking on it.
The Egon.
Oh, the Ecto one.
Yeah, and which also there's a fucking awesome scene. The only scene that Finn Wolfhard really had a validation of being in the movie for. That character is totally unnecessary.
Fair.
There's a shot of the Ecto one drifting through a cornfield, and it is fucking sick.
Nice.
Like beautifully shot, obviously practical.
Like Fast and Furious style shit.
100%. And there's a great chase with the Ecto one where with that we see in the trailer where they have the RC ghost strap and like a gunner seat with the fucking
that looked fucking cool.
It's a genuinely great scene.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, like, there's so many bright spots in that movie that I can't say I disliked it. I had some problems with the writing, I had some problems with the editing, but it was just so fun.
Nice.
And actually, so the context that we see that we see Venkman in at the end is that they're like trying to trap a ghost, and all the OG Ghostbusters are like incapacitated, but Phoebe's the only one with like a ghost pack, and she's like trying to reel him in with a fucking beam, and it sort of pans over, and his ghost, his apparition, is there holding it with her.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, and they get like a little reunion movie,
cool.
And it ends with him like fading away.
Nice.
And like it was in very good taste. They don't try and like do any like dubbed lines.
That's good. I mean,
like
just because it seemed like a real weird stretch to try to like create CGI Harold Ramis for a role. Like, you know what I mean?
They're given a gift in the aesthetic of the ghosts in Ghostbusters. He's not like a fucking like, he's not like a gross looking ghost.
Yeah.
But because like there's like a color to it that's not supposed to be completely distinguishable, like the use of the color and the use of the Ghostbusters-esque design sort of give the edge off of it, so it doesn't fall into the uncanny valley because it's not trying to look perfect.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. I mean, either way, I'm gonna look forward to seeing that movie when it pops out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a love letter to the originals,
for sure.
You know, and it pays a lot of respect to them.
Hell yeah.
I also watched
Encanto
the other day.
So how was that?
It was really fun. It was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I hadn't watched a Disney animated movie in a fucking long time before the pandemic, other than like The Incredibles 2.
That's right.
But through the pandemic, Kate got me watching a bunch of the like Disney and the Pixar movies that I missed. I still don't fucking like Frozen. Tangled's a better movie in every way.
I never got into Frozen. The last like real one that I thought was cool was the Brave one.
Brave is sick.
Brave's fucking rad.
Underrated. Brave gets a lot of shit.
I don't know why. It was fucking dope, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Encanto though.
Yeah, I mean, like, Kate got me watching like Kate showed me like Coco, which is a Pixar movie, absolutely brilliant. I watched Moana. Moana is sick.
Oh yeah, that's another good one. I totally spaced on that. That one pulls you in all the directions. Goddamn.
Shit. But Encanto, who you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right? The girl who plays Rosa.
Okay.
Rosa is the voice of the lead actress.
Okay.
But her voice is totally different. Really threw me for a loop.
Well, I feel like she really does that character.
Rosa Diaz is a character when she does a voice for. But that's my only context of knowing that actress. So whenever I hear her normal voice, I'm like, ugh. That said, animation, it works.
Yeah.
The movie. So do you know much of the setup?
No.
It's like they're living in like a magic house, and every single child that comes to age, they're given essentially like a superpower.
Okay.
Like, and they're not really, it's like their gift, they always call it. There's one girl that's like ripped and they can she's got super strength. There's one that can like grow flowers. There's one that has like super hearing. There's a guy that can shapeshift.
Okay.
There's a kid that can speak to animals.
Nice.
But she is like the one kid that when she came of age, it gave her nothing.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of like an interesting.
Yeah.
There's a movie. Disney Channel original movie called Up, Up and Away. That this was
Really?
a very similar plotline.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, it was about one kid who didn't get his superpowers, even though his parents were superpowered. So
Wait.
yeah.
Sky High?
No.
Oh.
Although that's another ripoff. I'm telling you, this was like a Disney Channel original. Like it was like a made-for-TV
Really?
movie.
Dude, I remember Sky
Like right
High,
up there
though.
with like Brink.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Anyway, so
No, dude, I
the
remember-
concept sounds way better, and it even looks as an animated movie
Much
way
better. No, oh fuck, I remember Sky High. Shit.
But yeah,
No, but it was and like it goes into a lot of stuff. It got me emotionally a bit because it's all about everybody finding value, even if it's not immediately apparent.
oh for sure, yeah.
And even like with the short before, I feel like this movie's made for parents. Like as somebody that feels like as a kid sort of felt like a bit of a fuck up at times.
Yeah.
It's like you have a lead character that is the family fuck up in about every way.
Fair enough.
She's like, everyone likes her, but she's not special
Yeah.
in the same way as all of her family.
Welcome
But
to my life as a middle child.
Oh no. But then all of her siblings have these gifts, and actually they do a great job of going to their perspectives and seeing how they're all like broken inside. They aren't doing anything for themselves.
Yeah.
These gifts are more of a burden to them and have like ruined their mental health.
That's interesting, man.
And it's fascinating to watch, and it was like very impactful and with how the story progressed.
Well, it's one of the only things that kind of addresses the idea right now of like, what's the downside of having the superpowers? You
Exactly.
know? Like, what's the negative of getting reliant on those superpowers and stuff like that? It seems.
Well,
like.
and I think, and one of the things with Encanto is that there's this family matriarch, and this actually very much falls into sort of my family experience, coming from a family where like my dad moved here from Brazil, found a lot of opportunity here. It's like the matriarch of the family is this woman who had like lost everything. Her husband died after she had the 3 kids. And like when he sacrificed himself to save everybody, like this candle came, like this candle she was carrying got like his spirit in it. And that's what created the house. That's what's giving them all their gifts.
Gotcha.
And she's so obsessed with this new opportunity that everything has to be perfect, you know? And I very much felt that. It was like, and it's sort of the crux of it is that it's not really about the perfection. It's like the opportunity was being able to give the kids a better life, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was incredibly wholesome. The message was great. It's one of those things that I wish came out in like my childhood because I would have gotten a lot from it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I love that we're seeing more of that these days.
Yeah.
It's you're seeing more stories told from perspectives that you wish had been more common.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah. And I mean like one of the actually, and I know we've had our qualms with Disney and inclusion and that type of thing.
Oh, I don't have qualms with inclusion.
Well,
I have
no, but, like,
I have
with
qualms
their
with Disney
execution.
capitalizing on it.
Exactly.
For the sake of money.
That's what I meant.
Not for the sake of bettering society.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. But the Colombian aesthetic of this is very appropriate, used incredibly well.
Nice.
At one point there's a whole song that's in Spanish. Pretty cool.
That is cool. I mean,
And-
it's good that they're taking those steps. It's good that they're taking those steps because like in real life, people don't mind hearing too much. You know, it's cool to experience different cultures through their different arts and their different things. And so it's like, why not, if you're already doing a movie centered around Colombian culture, then why not just include like straight like Spanish speaking Colombian music? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's one song out of I think the 5 in the movie.
yeah,
But that said, it's still good.
it's a step in the right direction.
And I think, yeah, exactly. And I think as an example, there's a version of Coco, which is Mexico, where that like every song is in Spanish. You can watch it on Disney Plus.
Well, that's good.
It's like, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing with this.
Yeah, and rightly they should, but I think that they should take more steps in the direction of just like making that the main theme for the fucking movies that they make, because, you know, as a society, we have the technology to provide closed captioning for just about anything. I mean, and so it's like if you can't handle the fact that you might not experience, like, say, some lyrics in a foreign language, and like you can put on your fucking subtitles and hope to catch them. It's not a big deal.
And the big song that isn't like
but it makes
a musical
the world a difference for other people.
Exactly.
That's my point. So
yeah, exactly. It's like and I mean, like, the song that isn't like a song in the movie, but like the Disney promotional song is in all Spanish.
That's cool.
Which is cool. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's been since like from the fucking tens. I feel like we've been hearing a lot of Spanish music, in particular in the States, in pop media, and like where that's even on some of the high charts as well.
Yeah. From
time to time. Yeah, good movie. Really enjoyed it. Moana's still the best Disney animated movie to come out in a while. Fight Me.
Dude,
that
straight
movie,
up though.
That
man,
movie,
I
in the first.
I forgot about that one, man.
Dude,
but yeah,
that movie got me from when the fucking grandma died, like 20 minutes.
That's what I mean, dude. It's like a kick in the dick, dude. It hurts, man. Like, you're just like, ah. Well, why'd you take her?
You'll find me.
Oh, dude.
There I go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but that's cool. It's one of those, like, I hit or miss want to keep Disney Plus.
Yeah.
For like a variety of things, like Hawkeye popping up was like, it really is what saved my subscription there. But then we got Book of Boba Fett coming out, but then you also have like the breadth of like their animated movies, and that is kind of like something that I think people camp on a little bit. Like, you have a lot of opportunity to go back and rewatch some really excellent work, and as something that you brought up earlier before the podcast, you can see like the animation getting better and better. And better. I
told you this, but for the sake of the podcast, there's a shot in Encanto where like the main character falls through like some sand, and you can see the individual grains in her hair, on her face.
That's what I mean, man.
There's another shot where the abuela is walking and she has like a shawl, and you can see the weave through the light coming through it because it's a thin article of clothing.
It's those details that you get now are just wild.
I'm one of those people that was like 5 years ago, we've hit the peak, you know? Like, you'll see some weirder stuff, like the interesting animation style in Spider-Verse. Like, you'll see some cool new things.
For sure.
But, like, the detail, we can't go much further than that. And then I get shit like this.
And, yeah, exactly. It just stretches that even further. And you're just like, okay, what? Now what?
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say how much I enjoyed this movie. It's one of those that it doesn't hit like the highest highs that Disney's ever done, but like the musical numbers are good. It's a Lin-Manuel Miranda musical again as well.
Oh, he's just popping up all over.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
There's this new Netflix drop it's called Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it's about like the guy who wrote Rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
I actually watched the trailer for it. That's another.
I might check it out.
It looked interesting, but it just reminded me. Yeah, he's like really stepping into the role of like writing and directing and doing a lot more.
Yeah, that's his directorial debut, right?
Yeah. Which is interesting itself. You know,
I am one of those people that it takes a lot for a musical to grab me outside of the animated context. Like, I was raised on like Aladdin and the Lion King. Those are the DVDs my parents had in the back of the minivan. You know, like I ate that shit up. So I'm more than comfortable listening to like a musical in like an animated picture. I think I'm in live action a lot more critical. That said,
well, yeah,
if it's really good, I'm down. Yeah. You know,
you have to
I'm probably not going to watch West Side Story.
I'm probably not either. But with like, just because I'm tired of them just redoing the same one.
Exactly.
I don't want to see the next time I see the West Side Story, I don't want it to be in a movie theater. You know what I mean? I want it to be on the stage.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that's the thing about doing like movie musicals is that you have to set the precedent that like you're breaking from reality. Yeah. You know what I mean?
In animation, that's easy.
It's so easy.
Why is Friend Like Me one of like the most iconic scenes in like the past 30 years of film? You know?
Yeah.
Like because it's fucking wild and it fits the music so well.
Absolutely. Man.
But then I feel like something is lost in like a live action like musical where it's not a live performance like you would see if you went to a local theater. I think that that's engaging in its own way. Mm-hmm. But Definitely. Then, like, there's so much... It's why I think La La Land is fucking overrated.
I honestly have not bothered to watch it.
It's a good movie if you want to hear Emma Stone sort of whisper sing to make everything sound a bit fine, you know, it's like... It's overrated. Sing Street's a better movie. Fight me. But like you lose a bit, and the burden falls on the directors and the cinematographers for making that sort of spectacle interesting. Mm-hmm. And I don't think movies succeed all the time.
No.
That's why I think Sing Street is better. Have you seen Sing Street?
No, I haven't.
Holy shit. It is so good. Okay. It's a bunch of kids in Ireland in like the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like them coming of age and like discovering good music. And it's them like starting off doing Duran Duran covers.
Interesting.
And then sort of turning into like their own band. And it's not ever framed as like breaking out into a musical number. It's them performing specific songs or like dressing like artists that they're discovering and sort of that being the vehicle for coming of age.
Okay.
It's so fucking good. It came out the same year as La La Land and it is leaps and bounds better than it. So watch Sing Street.
La La Land had Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is great. Don't get me wrong. Emma Stone is fucking great. I have no problems with the cast. I have more of a problem with the musical.
You know, and somehow we find ourselves talking about the weird award systems again.
Once again, come tune in live here at Old Heart Radio for the Old Hearties.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to be giving out our own subjective and completely biased perspectives on awards for 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
Live on TV. We're not streaming online, so.
And we're on a local television station only. Oh my God.
This is not a publicly available broadcast. Pay us.
Pay us, motherfucker.
And we're going to snub your favorite movie of the year. You heard us right. We're going to nominate only very obscure independent movies.
It'll be what's the next Lars von Trier movie? Oh my God. But yeah, man, episode 88 here. We've covered quite a bit. I think there's the fun thing about this episode, I hope the listeners take it away, is that we have given you a lot of options on a good few different platforms. So there's tons of stuff coming out. Yeah. Man. Like I just got rid of my HBO subscription. Yeah. And then just a final kind of thought here. I got rid of my HBO subscription, and at first I was like, dang it, dude, there's so much content on there. Yeah. That's it's kind of hard to get rid of it.
But it's not new stuff.
But it's all there's the random new thing that pops up on there. But even without it, there's so fucking much on Netflix, on Hulu, on fucking Amazon, on Disney Plus, on anything. So it's just
talk about a good oldie right here. House. I'm watching the fuck out of House. Dude,
House.
Talk about a show that would never be made today, and that's sort of the joke, you know?
Fair enough. Dude,
I'm not a medical periodical type guy or a procedural type guy. Yeah. But a dude where the entire bit is that he's politically incorrect for 2010 is pretty fucked up in 2020 or 2021, and it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. So just go out there, keep entertaining yourselves, motherfuckers. Keep listening to these podcasts, because why? They're entertaining too.
Thanks, corn dogs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's actually what we should do on Patreon.
Officially. If you are
Tier 1 hot dog, Tier 2 corn dog.
Yeah, boy. All right. You heard it here. Good day.